Hello guys, my name is Christopher, and I was one time a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and now I'm an atheist. I've totally looked into the church, and I've into all churches at that, and I found no validity of any of it. I find it all bullshit, to say the least. Probably when it all started was when I was told for the longest time that Joseph Smith was true to Emma Smith, and then the church came out last year. This is 2016, first day of 2016, and in 2014 they came out with the document saying that it was all bullshit, that it wasn't true, that he had something like 30 wives, and he was pretty much a fraud. And I started looking more into it, and just found a lot of inerrancies in all of the Mormon Church when it comes to the Book of Mormon and everything. Now, I wasn't, let's back up. I wasn't a strong member, mind you. I wasn't too much into the church, but I always thought, it's not a bad thing. Maybe I'll go back to it. Until I found out that little bit of information, and it totally made me look totally into it. And wow, man, just the mind control of this fucking church is just—it's amazing. It's amazing that people, of course, they're dropping out like flies very quickly. There's a lot of groups, a lot of people who on Facebook, if you look in, they have a lot of closed groups of, people I went to school with in Orem, Utah, that have just totally dropped out of the church, and good for them. Anyways, I looked into all of it too. I looked into the Bible. I looked into the, which I find bullshit too. All of it. All of it's just bullshit. I mean, I'm an atheist. I believe in evolution. I think it took billions of years for us to come here. I don't know where it came from, and that's okay. That's okay that I don't know. I'm going to keep learning what it is. But what the Bible says that it came about, I don't believe in it. And when the Book of Mormon says it, what it's all about, I don't fucking believe in that either. Anyways, let's get back to the Mormon Church. We'll go to the Bible and some other discussion. Anyways, one quick thing I wanted to that I read across in my what's the word I'm trying to say? Research of the Mormon Church. One of the things I came across as I was doing a lot of Wikipedia searches. I took it all with a grain of salt, but I really did the research, and I found this actually happened. One of the things that the Book of Mormon has problems with is, and I always say this to people who are members of the church, I always say, one thing that happened in the Book of Mormon is there was a huge body count of Nephites that died. Okay? on the American continent. What's so funny is no two groups can say exactly where. They say it would happen in Mesoamerica. Some say it happened in where Joe Smith found the Book of Mormon. Joe Smith said it was up there, so that's where it should be, if that's where he said it was at. Now, that's where he said he found the plates. That's where this supposed Moroni buried the plates. Only problem is, there was apparently a great battle that happened there. 250,000 plus people died, Nephites. And I'm going to say that there was a few on the Lamanite side that died. There was Nephites, there was Lamanites. They battled with each other. And 250,000 Nephites died. Question. That would be a lot of mass graves, don't you think? Don't you think that would be a lot of mass graves being founded by then? I'm sure they didn't bury all those. I'm sure they just stacked the bodies up somewhere or something. But we have not yet been able to find any shred of evidence that any of that has happened. Nothing. And that's where I say, you will get me back into church. You will get me back into everything. And the Mormon Church believes you can find those body counts. And they can't. They can't find it anywhere. Then I ran across something that was very interesting here. It was a Wikipedia little synopsises, I guess, of, it's called the Historical Authenticity of the Book of Mormon. And they talk about how the inerrancy of the Book of Mormon. They talk about how there's archaeological issues with it. Let's see. Read on there. The Book of Mormon mentions several animals, plants, technologies of which there are no evidence in pre-Columbian America. These include asses, cattle, milk, horses, oxen, sheep, swine, goats, elephants, wheat, barley, figs, silk, steel, bellows, brass, breastplates, chains, iron workings, plows, swords, chariots. The Smithsonian Institute has stated that none of the principal food plants and domestic animals of the Old World, except the dog, were present in New World before Columbus. Now, the thing about horses, they say, if you look in the Book of Mormon, I always laugh at the famous pictures that they always have over the temples of Moroni, with all the iron everywhere on the horses, with the shields, and, you know, all these horses everywhere, some sort of Lord of the Rings-esque type scene. The problem with it is, horses didn't come, if you do the research of when the horse, there was a period when there was horses, that was around the time, about 10,000 years ago, there was a horse. What it was called totally different than a horse, of course, and it looked totally different than a horse. Most of the horses were in Europe. We had a real bad ice age in the United States. That's why we have all the canyons and what have you that just got shredded out and carved up by ice. Among other things were, you know, genetic, the ground rose up and what have you. I know I'm being, I'm just giving you, I don't know the total of what happened, but that's, you know, pretty much right. Everything kind of collided together and went up. Ice went through and just carved out these canyons, along with genetic drift, etc., etc., etc. Anyways, at that time they did have what was called it was a huge horse apparently. I forget exactly what it's called offhand. I don't have the notes right now, but they died out they say about 10,000 years ago when the Ice Age came into play. All of horses died out in the United States. The last time a horse came was around the 1400s, around Columbus. They say they came from Spain. They apparently had tons of horses in Spain, and they just decided, hey, let's get a whole ship full of these horses and bring them over and just let them free. And that's what they did. And that's when they got the horse. That was around the 14th century, 15th century or so. Well after the Book of Mormon events took place. Okay? So they didn't have horses then. Okay? Now, to go on with with what I was reading on this Wikipedia article, I read something very interesting. This is an LDS funded archaeology project that happened in 1955. Now, the origins of this was because there was a guy named Thomas Ferguson who was a Latter-day Saint and a founder of the New World Archaeological Foundation, the NWAF. Okay? And in a nutshell, he pretty much went up to the church and said, hey, we want to go to, again, they wanted to go down to Mesoamerica and find out if they could find any artifacts that would pertain to the Book of Mormon. Something in Mesoamerica. And I always wonder if they go, why are you going there? Because they found the plates in, was it Illinois, I think? I don't remember. Close to where the Garden of Eden supposedly is. So fucking ridiculous these people believe this. Anyways, he went up to the church and he said, hey, let's put the nail in the coffin on the actual authenticity. Let's find out that this Book of Mormon is authentic. I think we should go down to Mesoamerica. BYU is going to go down to Mesoamerica, and we're going to do a study on this to see if we can find any truths pertaining to the Book of Mormon. And let me read I'll read the article of what I came across. It's very interesting. Anyway, a lot of people don't know about this, and this is what the church published. BYU published this, and it's very interesting what they had to say. Spoiler alert, they didn't find dick, pretty much. Anyways, it goes like this. Now, like I said, you can find it under Historical Authenticity of the Book of Mormon on Wikipedia. In 1955, like I said before, Thomas Ferguson, a Latter-day Saint and founder of the New World Archaeological Foundation, NWAF, with 5 years of funding from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, LDS Church. By the way, if I was looking at other articles about how much they funded, it was something close to about $1.3 million. This is 1955, mind you. So put it in today's dollars, so close to what, 3, 4, 5, probably about $4 million. It's a lot of money. Of course, that's chump change in today's Mormon church. That's It's like me giving you $5. Anyways, with 5 years of funding from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, began to dig throughout Mesoamerica for evidence of the veracity of the Book of Mormon claims. In a 1961 newsletter, Ferguson predicted that although nothing had been found, so this is 6 years later, although nothing had been found, the Book of Mormon cities would be found within 10 years. In 1972, Christian scholar Hugh Hogley wrote to Ferguson questioning the progress given the stated timeline in which the cities would be found. So this was another, I guess, Christian group that was interested in this. There was quite a few people that was interested in this too, which was the Smithsonian Institute was probably interested in it. There was a lot of people that were interested in this. So this Hal Hughley, Christian scholar, was questioning the progress given the stated timetable as to which the cities would be found. Replying to Hogley as well as secular and non-secular requests, Ferguson wrote in a letter dated June 5th, 1972, quote, 10 years have passed, ... I had sincerely hoped the Book of Mormon cities would be positively identified within 10 years. And time has proved me wrong in my anticipation. Unquote. During the period of 1959 to 61, NWAF colleagues, D. Green, was editor of the BYU Archaeological Society newsletter and had an article from it published in the summer of 1969. That was the year I was born, by the way. Edition of Dialogue, a Journal of Mormon Thought, pages 76 to 78, in which he acknowledged that the NWAF findings did not back up the veracity of the Book of Mormon claims. After this article and another 6 years of fruitless search, Ferguson published a 29-page paper in 1975 entitled Written Symposium of Book of Mormon Geography, response of Thomas F. Ferguson and Norman and Swartzen papers, in which he concluded, I'm afraid that up to this point I must agree with D. Green, who has told us that to date there is no Book of Mormon geography. In referring to his own paper, Ferguson wrote a 1976 letter in which he stated, quote, the real implication of the paper is that you can't set the Book of Mormon geography down anywhere because it is fictional and will never meet the requirements of dirt archaeology. I should say, which is in the ground will never conform to what is in the book. End of quote. The archaeological investigation and WAF sponsored projects have contributed towards documentation and understanding of pre-Columbian societies. This is going on here, particularly in Mesoamerica. Currently, BYU maintains 86 documents on the work of the NWAF and the BYU NWAF websites. These are and these documents are used outside both BYU LDS Church by researchers. But like I said, nothing came up clear cut that this Book of Mormon story took place down in Mesoamerica. Like I said, why Mesoamerica? He found the goddamn plates up in Illinois, for Christ's sake. Why Mesoamerica? it kind of goes on and on. There's a lot of other stuff in here. They talk about it goes on and on. It's kind of funny because another thing too is that book. Joseph Smith staunchly said at first that the American Indians are actual descendants of the American Indians. The Lamanites are. They said that they're actual descendants. That has changed over the years of all the findings that's come across. That it says right here, one of them is population genetics. The Book of Mormon tells us the people of Jared, which was someone who came, the people of Jared came in. They were around the time of this, the Tower of Babel, that they tried to make a stairs or whatever to heaven in the Book of Mormon, which is a bunch of horse shit. We went to the moon, and nothing happened. So, anyways, who migrated to America from the old world before Abraham's time. A group including Lehi's family migrated, blah, 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 blah. They said it was about 600 BC. They said these people came over, the people Mulek who migrated to America from Jerusalem about 8 years later. So when people went to this submarine for a year, they lived in some sort of submarine-type device that took them all the way to America. They lived on a submarine device. We don't know how many, 4 or 5 of them were made. They apparently put animals in the submarine for a year, and the only thing it had was a little porthole. It was just ridiculous nonsense. Anyways, they've done genetic testing on the Lamanites, supposed American Indian. North American Indians are generally considered the genetic descendants of East Eurasian peoples. There's people from Asia. They said they came here probably about 15 to 10,000 years ago. They went apparently the land mass between the Bering Straits were a lot closer. There may have been some icebergs that came along there because we were in some sort of ice age, and they just crossed it over. If you look at a lot of the American Indians, they look very almost Asian. Their eyes are very kind of Asian looking. If you look at it very closely, look at the Eskimos, for the love of God. The Eskimos are very Asian looking. And I think what happened is a lot of those people said, yeah, you guys hang up here in the cold weather. We're going to go down where it's a little warmer. You have fun with that. And that went down. And these groups just totally just splintered off. Some went down further, down to South America and Mesoamerica years ago. And that's just that, but they keep changing their story. Now, before, if you look at the original copy of the Book of Mormon, they said that it was that it was definite that the Lamanites were Jews, Jewish descent. Now, the genetic testing has proven that wrong. Now they turn around and say they're among the American people. They've just totally changed their story to fit whatever bullshit they're trying to peddle to people. Anyways, let me know if you find something out. I don't want you to take my word for this. I am not a historian by all means. If you find something different, go ahead. If you're trying to prove the point that this is all true, there's Mormons that have to see this and try to defend this, Please don't waste your breath. I've looked into everything. I haven't found it. Like I said, give me those 250,000 bodies. Give me those. 250, a whole city of bodies are disappeared from a battle. Where did they go? Well, they went nowhere because it was a fictional story. It's a bunch of bullshit. Anyways, this is probably my one way to vent about this. So, like I said, if you've got more information, I would love to hear it. If you want to, debate about this, I'm more than happy to hear what you got to say. But like I said, if you do your homework on the Book of Mormon, if you actually step outside the box, get the Mormon glasses off, you'll find it's all just a very neat, sanitized, written, stolen story. That's been founded too. And maybe later on, if I do more research, I'll find out where that's from too. There's been a lot of speculations of View of the Hebrews was one book that Joseph Smith may have stolen the Book of Mormon story. There's tons of books that they came from. And, of course, don't get me started on the Seer Stone bullshit that just came out last year as well. It should be interesting. Like I said, leave your comments and let me know what you got to say. I'm very interested. Thank you. Peace out.